Hello lettering friend, I'm Sarah from Ensign Insights, and in this video I'm going to share with you my November challenge in my handlettering journal. So everything that I did for November. Let's do it. This challenge is one that I've been sharing with my newsletter subscribers, so you can still sign up for that. There will be another challenge in December, and I'm going to share the details of that at the end of this video. There were 4 prompts for the month of November, so one for each week, and the first week was, what are you grateful for right now? And I love this prompt. I do it all the time, actually. I don't just do it on one day. I do this a lot in my handlettering journal. I love to just think about what is making me happy right now, and then documenting that in my journal reminds me of the good things that are happening right now. So I did squeaky because every time that I say squeaky to my toddler, she laughs so hard, and it's just the cutest thing. And then I wanted to do another page with what I'm grateful for right now, and I decided to do this one on an angle. So adding my baseline, making my letters go up, and I love that it adds a little bit of movement to my lettering. And then I just did a simple script font and then added a print font below. And I did squishy face hugs and blowing kisses because it's another thing that my toddler does right now that is just too cute. And then I decided to add some stripes, and I went in with the wavy stripes just to give it a different look. And I don't know, I think I needed to practice some wavy stripes before doing this, but it's okay. I kind of like how it turned out. The gray blends in a little bit so that the colors really stand out. And the whole point of a handlettering journal is just for me to get into my journal, not to be perfect. So this next page, you're doing better than you think. This one isn't one of the prompts. I tried these rainbows and I liked them. They're a little bit wiggly. So I decided on the next page I would try something different. So for week 2 prompt, lettering this one, I decided I was going to use my Helix circle maker. And what's really interesting, I found that I didn't like this page. I tried to figure out how to make it better. I really liked the rainbows on the previous page, so why didn't I like these ones? And I realized that these ones were too perfect. And the colors were really small. My stripes are really small. I wanted bigger chunks of color. And I don't know, I actually kind of liked the imperfection of the squiggly rainbows on the previous page. So that's just something that I'm learning for myself, that I kind of like the imperfections. So then I decided that I needed to do this quote again, the gratitude turns what we have into enough, because I just didn't love this one. So I wanted to do this quote again. This time I didn't film it, so I'll just show you. I did this left page, gratitude turns what we have into enough, and I really liked how it turned out, so I decided on the right side of the page I would do that same rainbow. And I shared this in my newsletter already, but I made that little red blob because I was lettering in my office with my noise canceling headphones, and my husband came in and I totally got startled. And so now that's just a funny memory I have in my journal. After that, I started realizing that it is really hard to fill the entire page with my Pentel Touch brush pens, but what I really like doing with them is practicing the alphabet. So that's how I filled that page. And then on the next page, I wanted to do a chunky font because I like doing that to fill the entire page. I had committed to using Pentel Touch brush pens for the entire month of November, but I started realizing I don't know if they're the best for an entire piece. They're great for small lettering, like in this one, everything has changed. I love how the lettering turned out. So then I started just trying to play with the markers to work with what they're really good at, which is small lettering and practicing the basic strokes. As I was doing this piece, I had a really good idea that maybe I can practice the basic strokes and create a beautiful lettering piece in my journal. So for this one, that's what I'm going to do. This is week 3 of the prompt. The quote is, to be content with little is difficult, to be content with much impossible. I like this quote that we don't need everything that we think we need to be happy. We can be happy with exactly what we have right now. I was thinking about this with my pens. I have so many pens, and I've been trying to use just one pen more often until I'm ready to switch to the next pen. But as I was saying about how you've got to use the pen for what they're really good at, If you are not liking a lettering piece and you're really struggling with it and why is this not turning out, it is very possible that you just need to try a different pen. Maybe one that you already have. You don't need to go buy a really expensive pen. A lot of the pens that I love are actually really cheap. But every pen gives a different look, and so you want to see how you feel with the pen. Does it feel good with your style, with the things that you want to create? Just because somebody else loves a certain pen doesn't mean that it's going to be the best fit for your style. And it's hard because you've got to experiment, because you're not going to know until you try it. You can see how I am practicing the upstrokes and downstrokes, and that's what's creating these stripes. And I really, really like how this piece turned out, and it's because I was working with the pen, what the pen is really good at. And that's how we should be with ourselves, right? Work with what we're good at, with what we want to letter, the unique things that we can create. All right, so moving forward, this next quote that I did was actually a poem that Morgan Harper Nichols wrote for me. She takes these submissions, and this was several years ago. I wrote in my story after having my first miscarriage, and these words have just meant so much to me over the years. So then turning the page, I decided to try the basic strokes again because I wanted to work with what the pens do best. But then for the week 4 prompt, I decided that I didn't want to practice the basic strokes or a basic alphabet. I wanted to do something different. So I broke my rule or commitment or whatever to just using the Pentel Touch Brush pens, and I decided to use my Kuretake Zig Clean Color dot markers. I really love these markers and I hadn't used them in a long time. They're really fun because you can use them as a brush pen. It's a little bit different. It's not as thin of an upstroke. And then they get really good dots, of course. That's the whole point. And just by giving it different pressure, you can get different sizes of dots. And then the fine tip side is also really fun. I love when a marker has the large side and the fine tip side. And the fine tip side does have a tiny little bit of flexibility if you push really hard, almost like the Monami Plus 3000. That's for if you want really tiny calligraphy. And this week 4 prompt was words from a song that you love right now. So I lettered Everything Has Changed because this is a song from Taylor Swift. I've been listening to her new album lately, her new old album. And this is one of my favorite songs because just these words, everything has changed. I feel like, especially around the holidays, I'm always thinking about how things are different from last year. And this sums it up pretty well. So then I noticed that these pens have a lot more ink and they bled through the paper. So there was some ghosting on the other side. My Rhodia web notebook, it isn't the thickest pages. So I think that was to be expected. To solve this, I created a quote on my iPad and I printed it out on label paper so that it could be a sticker. And I could have used regular paper too. I could have just glued it on. But I had the sticker paper, so I decided to try it. And I really like how it turned out. I like this because in my previous journal, it had quotes and designs already printed throughout the journal. And this notebook doesn't. It's all just plain, ready for me to create something. And so I like that I could have a printed quote with my lettering. So I might be doing that more often. Then on the next page, I just wanted to letter the song that I was listening to, and I used the fine point of the dot markers. And then I decided to use my Staedtler Tri Plus highlighters because I just love them so much. That's all I've done for November so far. I hope some of that helped you to be inspired in your own lettering. If you liked this challenge, you can sign up for the December challenge. I'm calling it the Calm December Challenge, and there are 12 words, so it's like the 12 days of Christmas because, December tends to be a pretty busy time of the year. And I've decided that I'm going to use a different pen for each of the words. So if you'd like to sign up for that challenge, join the lettering library below. Thank you so much for watching this video. I will see you next time.